All right, we're rolling.
All right, this is a home interview in Malta, New York. It is the 5th of December 2007, approximately 10 a.m. Interviewers are Mike Russert and Wayne Clark. Could you give me your full name, date of birth, and place of birth, please?
Frank J. Girardi, December 25th, 1920.
Okay. Where were you born?
Naples, Italy.
All right. When did you come over to the United States?
1927.
So you were 7 years old.
Yes, sir.
Did you come over with your family?
Yes, sir.
Why did they decide to leave Italy?
Because my father was here before us,
Oh, okay.
and he wanted to get us to the United States. So he brought one of my sister over. They worked, they saved the money. Then they brought another sister over. And she worked, and they saved the money. Then they brought the rest of us over. There were 7 of us in our family.
Mm-hmm.
He brought everybody over. We settled in Troy, New York.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What was your educational background prior to going into service?
I went to grammar school, 10, in Troy, New York. Then I went to high school, Troy High School.
Mm-hmm.
And I graduated in 1939,
Okay.
something like that.
Did you go to work after you left high
Yes,
school?
I worked. Matter of fact, instead of going to school, I quit, but I had to go back. I got my diploma, and then I worked in Clue and Peabody. They made arrow shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I worked there till the war broke out. And when the war broke out, I volunteered the Navy.
Okay. Do you remember where you were when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
We were having a Christmas party in the Nucleus, you know, the time it was.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a Christmas party. And then all of a sudden on the radio, they said Pearl Harbor got bombed. So that's where it happened.
Mm-hmm.
We were having a Christmas party, our shop.
How did it change the Christmas party?
Hey, but they never heard of Pearl Harbor or anything.
Most people didn't.
Where's Pearl Harbor?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they didn't know, so I didn't know either. So we had a good time, and then that was it.
Mm-hmm. Now, why did you decide to enlist?
Because I was 22 years old then, and I said to myself, geez, the guys are going here, they're getting drafted, they had a draft.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I don't want to go in the Army. So I go to the Navy. So me and my friend, were buddies, we went, Troy, we listed in the Navy. And they signed us into the Navy, and then we had to go to Albany, and recruiting station down there. Mm-hmm. And he swore us in, O'Sullivan, he was an Irish guy, an Irish commander, and he swore us in. Then we had to stay there, and we had to go to boot camp.
Where did you go for boot camp?
Newport, Rhode Island.
What was that like?
Well, you had to do get up early, the exercise, and do calisthenics, and they teach you different things, all different things they taught you, you know, and the inspections and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Only a few months we were in there. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, they had assigned us to the ships, and I was lucky to get on me and my friend got on to Massachusetts. We were lucky. Mm-hmm. That's what I think. I didn't get hurt. I didn't get nothing, you know.
Was that your first time away from home?
Yeah, I never went no place. You know, my father had a lot of children, and we didn't mm-hmm. go anywhere. You know, he didn't drive a car or anything. Mm-hmm. We used to go up to park on a Sunday when he was off from work. We'd pack a big lunch, me and my mother, to make a lunch for all the children. We go up to park. We had on the swings. There was a swimming pool up there. We go swimming and stuff like that. And that was our big day. Mm-hmm. That's what we did.
Okay. When you were at Newport, what was the food like?
Good. Food was good. Hey, you're young. Where do you eat?
Yeah.
The guy didn't want something, you, hey, give it to me, I'll eat it, you know.
Did you receive any specialized training before you went on to Massachusetts?
No, just
You were given training when you got on board?
Yeah, on the ship, yeah, they taught us the guns and they showed us reveille, to how they get up in the morning, what your job was, and all that stuff.
What were your duties when you got on board?
My duties were topside. I was assigned to the 16-inch gun in ground battles, and aircraft battles I was on a 20mm gun on the planes. We were taught how to use the ammunition, how to use the gun, all that stuff, you know. That's what they taught us. And then we went on shakedown. That was a new ship. And that was in, by the time they got it ready, we were in the South Boston. And we stayed in a Fargo building until they got it all together. Then we went aboard. They took shakedown crews up and down Atlantic coast. Teach us how to tie along the dock, how to do different things, you know, how to change, how the anchor chains work and all that stuff. When they go into the harbor, how to tie along, slide, and all that.
So you were a plank holder then?
Yeah, I was on to the beginning to the end, till the war ended. I was there all to the end.
Okay.
Oh.
Now, I noticed you mentioned that something happened to you while you were in Boston Harbor, though. You fell over the side?
We went on a shakedown cruise, and it was winter, you know? So we pulled into Boston back, and they took these lines to go across to die on the chalk. They call these chalks. And you throw your line on there. And this one was so long, the bow, that it came 3 or 4 times. So they want somebody, one of us sailors, go on the line and get a rope and tie it together so they'd be together, because they had to put rat guards on them.
Now, what do you mean by that?
The rats come,
okay.
they come aboard ship.
Into the ship, okay.
So we had to do that. So I had, the boatswain mate in charge says, Frank, you do that job. So I got on the thing. I went down so far, I had the rope. I was pulling them up, you know, getting them together. And I got so far, all of a sudden, it was all full of ice. Because we went to shakedown, and the winter, the waves and everything, made all the cables icy. So I had my life jacket, and I lost my balance. I was underneath, and I was holding on for dear life, because you look down below about 40 feet, and you could see big ice chunks, and if I fell, I would have hit them, would have probably got killed. So the one guy tried to help me, but he slipped, and he went back. He made it back to the ship. And then well, I was lucky that Coast Guard boat was going by, and they singled him in. And he came between the ship and the dock. And I was holding on for dear life. I was losing it, you know. Man, I had my legs around the rope and that life jacket, you know. So the Coast Guard came, and the guy in the Coast, come on, jump on, jump! I let go, I went boom on the top of their cabinet. I almost went through, I broke the cabinet, but I didn't go through. And boy, was I good, so happy. Everybody clapped, they said, Jesus, like. Then they took me back and they put me back on the ship. They examined me if I had anything wrong, and that's it. That's what happened. That's a narrow escape for me.
Yes, it is, yeah.
That's one narrow escape. That's it. Oh.
Now, how long was it before you went overseas?
Oh, well, we had shakedown. Then we went Casablanca, November of what the hell year is that?
Probably 42.
42. We had them. They made a bunch of ship to invade Casablanca, North Morocco, and our ship was the task force with all the other ships and the army guys, you know, tankers and everything. So we had to go across the Atlantic.
What was that like?
Well, there were depth charges. Germans were trying to hit us. Depth charges, they had torpedoes and submarines they had. But our destroyers, they were surrounded. You know, they throw depth charge and blow. So we had to go different directions. We had to go south, we had to go north, to fool and see where they were going. They don't know where we were going. So we sneaked into Casablanca harbor, Morocco, French Morocco, and the ship was tied, trying to get out. It was Jean Bar, was a battleship.
Yeah, French
was trying to get out, and we hit it.
Did they fire back at you? Or?
Yeah, they fired, but they didn't hit us. The cruiser hit us, just above the waterline. But it didn't do no damage. It did damage, but nobody got killed. So we were lucky there. Then they had a shore battery shooting at us too. And we shot them out, we shot the cruisers out, we shot the battleship out, and we were safe. So the next thing, our troops went in. Then they told us to go back to Boston to get fixed up because they were afraid that water was near the waterline, the water come in. So we went to Boston, we got fixed up, and then they told us to hurry up the repairs because Japanese were taking all our ships out there in New Solomon.
They're around Guadalcanal.
Guadalcanal and all that area.
There.
And they were the only battleship in operation. The other ones were all hit, all tied up, and they couldn't do nothing. So we went with a task force. Went through the Panama Canal with a task force. We went to New Guinea, and we pulled it there at night, and the Marines were fighting on the hillside. You could see the tracers, you know, all that. And we had then they had the Marine battleship, the Marine crew on the ships to invade because they wanted to take the airfield. So the next morning, we bombarded, they got out of there, our troops, and we hit the shore so they can make an opening for our troops to go in, take the airfield. They got the airfield. Then we got out of there. Then all the way up, we hit all them islands, all the way up to Japan.
Now I wanted to ask you, while you were doing these, while you were engaging the French fleet and doing the fire against the shore batteries and so on, you were in the working in the 16.
I was in a 16-inch guns.
Tell us what your duties were.
I sent a projector up. They had to come along down there with a projector. You put a wire a rope around it, and you bring it over to the middle of the where they had the shells. There was an elevator. You bring it to that, and you stick them in there.
Now, how much did each of the shells weigh? 2 tons.
2 tons. And they ship them up. And then there's another compartment upstairs. They send the bags up behind it. See? And then,
so the shells were in one compartment and the bags.
Yeah, and another. Because there was 3-4 decks high. You know? They had power there, and when the shells went up first, then the power went up behind them. And that's how they get the range. Radar, we had radar. We had spotter planes telling us where to hit the target. They signal back. You know how they did it.
Right.
And they shot. They hit good. We hit them good.
Did you ever have the concussion from the shells, from the firing? Did that ever bother you?
The whole ship shook. When they shoot them 16-inch,
oh, yes, yeah, right.
Ooh, the ship will shake. You don't get scared, but you know, it's first time that happens. You know, then you get used to it. That's all.
Did it ever affect your hearing at all?
No.
You were how many decks under the turret were you?
I was down 3 decks.
3 decks.
You had to go down there fast. The single, they blew the general quarters. You had to run down there quick.
Now, what was daily life like on the ship?
Well, we were underway, and you couldn't do much. Like if they told me to take care of the shower room, I had to clean that. That was my duty when we were underway. 'cause the guys take showers and all that, and they dirty it up. And some of them want to come in. Before it was clean, I wouldn't let them in. They get mad at me. I close the hatches. I couldn't take a shower till it's clean. They holler at me. So I don't care. I did it. I take my shower first, then I open the hatch, let them in.
Now, what were your meals like on the ship?
Oh, they were good meals. We had a good cook. We had a nice cafeteria, nice everything. A battleship had everything. We had Marines aboard too. We had Marines, 200 Marines aboard. I was the 9th Division. I was in the 1st Division, 2nd, but they were different. And then went toward the 3rd Division. Toward 2 turrets in the front, 1st and 2nd Division. Then they had 5-inch guns all around on both sides. They had 40 millimeters and 20 millimeters in between. The ship was like a target you couldn't get through, because you didn't fire at the plane, you fire at your range. Like the ship was like that, you fire at your range, like your guns point that way, the other ones point 360 degrees. And you just fire when the airplanes came at us, that's all. You didn't have to hit the target.
Right.
They had to penetrate through. The only thing is, when they come in low elevation over the ocean, you know, the sea, we couldn't bring our gun down, so we depended on other ship up to hit it, or they hit us with a torpedo.
Right.
They did good though, the other ships. San Juan, the ship's name, oh, that was a good ship. They did a lot of damage. They were a good ship. It was the leading destroyer. They were in front. And then the battleship, the carriers were in the middle, and the battleships were around it for protection. That's the way they went. We went through the ocean like that. That's how we operated.
Now, when you had extra time, what did you do? How did you spend your time?
Oh, we played cards, issy-doocy, play handball. Then, if you want to learn how to fight, put the gloves on. I did that.
Now, you mentioned you listened to Tokyo Rose.
Yeah, Tokyo Rose. And then we used to, at night, she used to broadcast, the guys put the radio on. Says, you guys are a bunch of sucker, your wives are cheating on you, and all that stuff. You and your wives and your girlfriends, and they're going out with other guys, and you guys have to fight, and you're suffering here. They don't care, you know. That's why she's something like that. She said, make your morale low.
But the music was good, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, the music was good. Glenn Miller and all that stuff. Yep. Then we got hit. When we got hit there in Boston, we stayed a few months in Boston. We went to USO, they had dancing.
This is after Casablanca.
Yeah. Then in Seattle, we got so many months out to sea, they told us to go back because the liners of the guns come on. We hit so many targets, the gun barrels come out, and they had to be reburred. And we went to Bremerton, Washington. That's where it went. We went by Seattle into Bremerton, and the big dock. They put our ship in it to let the water out, and we had barnacles and all. We had to scrape the rust and all. That's what they made us do.
No, they did. Did they replace the entire barrel, or did they just reboard?
They reboarded it, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Then they rushed us too. We were supposed to stay there longer, but there was so much fighting out there. The Japanese with their battleships and everything around the Philippines and all that. So we had to go out there. Mm-hmm. We had to take the Philippines. We got them.
Now, were you involved in Leyte Gulf?
Leyte Gulf, yeah. Tagloban was the town where you went in. They gave us liberty, 2 hours. Mm-hmm. They put us on a landing craft. We go in, have a beer party. They give us 2 beers apiece, all the sailors. Mm-hmm. But I didn't drink. I sold mine for $10 a bottle. I made money. I didn't drink.
Did you smoke at the time?
Yeah, I was smoking then.
I was wondering if you sold your cigarettes. Most sold their cigarettes didn't smoke. So you were involved in support and a lot of the islands. Then you mentioned Tarawa, Saipan,
Yeah,
Okinawa,
all
Iwo
them.
Jima.
Yep.
In Okinawa, were you under attack by kamikazes at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every time you know what they did? They come at night. They drop flares and light up the whole sea. They could see us. We couldn't see them. Here we are on the ship, and we're on the guns. And Jesus Christ, which way they're gonna come? You know.
Now, when you were at a 20 millimeter, you said what did you do on those guns?
You just aim at your
Well, I
target.
mean, did you fire them, or were you a loader, or what?
Well, I fired them sometimes, and the other guy would fire because they were heavy. You know,
Yes,
they
right.
take turns.
Oh, so you took turns.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's all. You just shoot. The guy that caught shot, shoot. You know, the quartermaster, them radar, they tell you when to shoot. They holler. We had earphones, and then we shot. That's all. We didn't know what we were hitting, but our ship got about 26 airplanes we shot down through the whole war. We had 26 airplanes we shot down.
Did your ship get hit at all by any of the kamikazes?
Not in the Pacific, just in the Casablanca we got hit.
Mhm.
We were lucky out there. We didn't get hit at all. But we invaded Philippines, Tarawa, Okinawa, did it all. Almost every island I was on. Holy jeez.
Now, you said you were seasick during the typhoon. Was that
Oh,
going
what a
off Okinawa?
typhoon! Oh, no, that was the Philippines.
Oh, the Philippines. Okay, someone just wrote
Well,
a book
they
about
really
that.
got
Halsey's
sick, I'm
tornado.
telling you. Our ship was
Typhoon.
going like this, and the water would come over like that. Then we had big lines tied that tied the ship. They got loose. They were going over the side, and they want us, the sailors, to go out of the ship, come out top side, and get those lines and tie them down again. And when they did, a lot of guys went right out, but then the ship went like this, and the waves come over, and them guys got knocked around, and some of them got injured. I seen that, I said, I ain't gonna go there. I said, oh, with that. I stayed behind a little bit, you know. I said, geez, I could see them. Some guys don't think. You know, you could afford it. But I mean, I tried, but I wasn't crazy. You go way up in front, because the ship went like this, you could go overboard. I wasn't going to go overboard in that ocean. You'd be gone. One of our cruisers, the bow got loose. The bow went one way, and the other part of the ship went Pittsburgh, USSB. And then they had to grab it and tow it all the way back to Hawaii and put it back together again. That's what happened in that typhoon. Everybody was sick. We had stores just before the typhoon. We had boxes of potatoes in the back. We tied them in the bow, not the bow, but the stern, the back part. And we had them all tied down. And when that typhoon hit, they all got loose. Then when the sea got calm, look all over, we had potatoes all over, floating all over the ocean there. The fish were coming up and grabbing them.
What was the crew like? It was like a big, close city.
Oh yeah, we were close. There was a lot of nice guys. They're from all over the United States I met. There were a lot of nice guys. I never had any trouble with none of them, you know. We got it stuck together. What the heck?
What were the officers like?
The officers, they were good officers. One
Now-
was better than the other. They were all good guys.
Now, those that worked in the kitchens and so on were all blacks, usually.
Yeah, they had them in the kitchen.
Were they pretty well segregated on the ship?
Yeah, there wasn't that many blacks.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't that many blacks.
On your ship?
Yeah, there was a few, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see any. We had one Jewish guy on our crew. He was the only Jewish, isn't it? And they said, you know, I didn't know about it, but the guy say, how the hell did you get in there? The Jewish guy don't go into service. Yeah, he volunteered too. He was from New York City. He was a good guy. Maxie, his name was.
Now, you mentioned that one of the people you remember the most was a friend of yours that was in your division that basically always protected everybody.
Yeah.
How did he do that? How did
Well, they told him
protect
the danger part, you know, to
Mhm.
watch how you shoot the gun and everything. He was very smart. He was from Brooklyn.
Mhm.
His name is Tony Salerno. And he was good. I tried to look him up in that book. He's not in that book that I bought, you know. I was going to write him a letter,
Mhm.
but I can't. There's no address.
Now, by the end of the war, you also went off. You were off the coast of Japan. Did you ever get a chance to land in Japan?
No,
or
they
go
were gonna-
ashore?
They were going to make a task force on our ship to go ashore for, you know, for security, you know, have patrol. But then you had to volunteer. I said, I ain't volunteer. I want to go home. I've been out here 18 months just on a ship on the ocean. So I said to myself, I'm going home. I ain't volunteering. Some guys volunteered. They went over. The next day they all come back. They didn't need them. But some of the crews, the other ships, they went in the harbor, especially Missouri. That was the, you know, the captain's the admiral's ship. They had to go in and make the peace treaty. So MacArthur and all them came in, Admiral Halsey, Turk Fleet Admiral. He had to go in. They made the sign the peace treaty with what's his name? Omahida, with the whatever the Japanese premier
Hirohito.
Hirohito.
There wasn't just let me ask you.
Did you see any USO shows or any sort of entertainment like that?
No, we never had that. We had our own band on our ship.
Uh-huh.
And some guys, they used to be entertainers that joined the Navy, and they used to put on a show in the bow when it was nice night, we're on the ocean, and they used to play, they used to tell you, you're off duty, you didn't have no watch or anything, you go and watch them.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys, they were professional entertainers that joined. And they were on Broadway in New York and everything, so they put that show on. But when we went to Seattle, we went to the USO dancing and everything, you know. We went to the city. Another thing about Seattle, if you're drinking, you stay on a bar, you got to stand up. You can't sit down because they know you're getting drunk, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what the rules they had there. Couldn't believe it. You had to stand up. But I didn't drink that much anyway. So it was the 4th of July. They put us in the parade, the USS Massachusetts. We had to dress all in white. And we were in the parade, 4th of July parade in Seattle. What a town, beautiful. We used to take the ferry from on Puget Sound from Bremerton across the harbor. And when the ferry went across, I used to see a big sign that says Troy. I was from Troy. Diner. It was a diner right on the shore. And I used to get, geez, a Troy diner. I used to get homesick. I was thinking about I lived in Troy all my life until I came here. 72 years until I came here.
Now, do you remember when you were on ship, when you heard about President Roosevelt's death, the reaction of...
The what?
The death of President Roosevelt. Do you remember hearing about that?
Did he die when the war was on?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I couldn't remember that. Tell you the
Okay.
truth. I couldn't
How about
remember
when
that
you
part.
heard about the dropping of the atomic bombs?
Well, we were off of Okinawa when them planes were going over. We didn't know there were B-47s,
B-29.
B-29s. They were going over. I said, what the heck? We're on deck, you know. We look and said, where the hell are they going? Then all of a sudden, about 5, 6, 7 hours later, it says they dropped the bomb. And Japan surrendered. Holy gee, we're so happy. We all clapped. We were happy. We're hugging each other and everything. Gee, this war is over then, because the Germans surrendered already.
Right, right.
So the war was over. We're going to go home, you know. That's what you got on mind. So we were so happy. Cried. Some guys cried because they were homesick. They didn't see their wives. They had kids. Me, I was a single guy. And when I got discharged in Seattle, I didn't get discharged in Seattle.
Well, did your ship go? Your ship?
No,
went
I
back,
told
or-
our ship to go back
Mhm.
because we were on the ocean 18 months. We're the
Mhm.
old. We had more time out there with the battles and all. And the admiral told the U.S. Massachusetts go back to the States.
Mhm.
So don't we get a tin can with a bad screw? We only could do 5-6 knots. You know, we had to keep up with that
Right.
crew, with that destroyer. They send that one back with us. So we went all the way up to Aleutian Islands, Alaska, and then come down to Seattle. They said it was shorter to do it that way than go straight across. We saved miles. So we got to Seattle. They gave us a leave. I came all the way to Troy from Seattle. They gave me a leave. I stayed 30 days. I went back. Then he said to me, you got a discharge. You got to go back to Sampson, New York. But they give you the discharge papers and all.
So
I had
you
to
were
come-
discharged at Sampson.
Sampson, New York.
Did you have to stay there at all?
Yeah, one night I think.
Mhm.
Is that near Syracuse?
Yes. Yes.
Someplace.
Yeah.
They gave us arrow shirt. I worked there. They gave everybody an arrow shirt when they got to Sampson. I got an arrow shirt. I worked there when I left.
Now, after you left the service, did you use the GI Bill at all?
No, I don't think so.
Mhm.
No, they had that 20 a week club. I went right back.
5220. You never used that either.
I went back to work. Clued.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who,
Yeah.
I said, hey, I got it, my job. I was conscientious, I want to work, make money. Because even when I went to school, when I was a kid, I was in grammar school, I was peddling milk. The guy pick up the milk in Albany, and he meet me in Troy, and we peddled from house to house them days.
Mm-hmm.
And he hired me 50 cents a day he's paying me. And he'd leave me off at school, and I go into school. I get up 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
That's what I did when I was
Mhm.
a kid. I worked. Because my mother needed the money. There were 7 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And depression and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she needed the money. So I went to work.
Did you join any veterans organizations?
Yeah, I joined the American Legion. Did I join the VFW? And then I quit. I quit them all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't have time. I was working 2
Right.
jobs. I didn't go no more. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm a member down here in Half Moon. I'm a veteran, American Legion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm joined that. I'm a
Okay.
member there.
Did you stay in contact with anyone that was in service with you?
I had a friend that joined the Navy with me.
Oh, right.
Michael Mitley, his name was. And he's the kind of guy, when Reveille came, he wouldn't get up. And the working parties, you line up to get the supply when you're in line.
Mm-hmm.
He would disappear. He got on the shit list. Is that on there?
That's all right. That's all right. That's fine.
So he got, and they shipped him off. They transferred him. I said, the commander, how come you can't? I want to get home. You get a leave when you go home. He said, not you. You ain't going. He said, you're staying there. I said, the commander, just him. He's gone.
Do you know what happened to him?
He went on when he got back, he got his leave, and then they put him on a Kaiser Coffin aircraft. They called him Kaiser Coffin. They made him out, and you know about that?
The small aircraft carrier.
And he
yeah,
got
the
sunk.
CVEs, yeah. Oh,
He got
really?
sunk. Like his ship got hit, and it went down, and he was in the water 3 hours swimming around with no life jacket. He's the kind of guy who wouldn't even put a life jacket. He's swimming around, sharks and everything around there, where the ship got hit.
Mm-hmm.
And he saved himself. He got aboard and he went home. So when I got discharged, I met him. We went out a couple of times. He got married and I got married. And one morning he gets up. He bought a house. He built a house and found a road in Cohoes on top of the hill there where the junk, where the what do they call it? The dump site.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
They found a road is up the street or somewhere there. He built a house there. And he wanted me to build a house with him. I said, nah, I don't want to do that. I ain't got the money anyway. So One morning he gets up, his car wouldn't start, so he went out, took the battery out, put another battery in, and he had an awful heart. He died right there on the hood. He had a bad heart attack. That was it. I was in his wedding too, when he got married.
Now, do you have a reunion organization for your battleship at all?
I never went. They were supposed to. They called, they sent letters. I never went.
Now, have you ever gone to visit the Massachusetts?
Twice. I went with him.
Yeah.
I went with my son. He took me to what month?
That was quite an experience because my wife got to go up in the gun turret, and to me, I said that is historical as far as I'm concerned. I like that. You know.
Yeah, we tore the ship, me and his wife. And then I went with my son and my grandkids. I got pictures. You want to see them?
Sure, wait, at the end. Wait till we're finished.
All right.
How do you think your time in the service had an effect on your life?
Hey, I know it's you sacrifice your thing. You got to obey the rules, and you got to be a good person with everybody. You know, you can't. And I think I got a lot of friends. You know, even here, I moved here, and I got a lot of people that, you know, I hang around with him and a whole bunch of us. You know, even though we meet in the McDonald's and in the mornings, and we all sit together and kid each other and have a good time. And it made me a good man. I worked all the time. I got married. I brought up my family, and I worked for Crew and Peabody, the Aero Company. Then I got a job in Norton Company. They make abrasives and all that. I got a pension from there. I worked. I'm a good standing, and that's all I could tell you.
Okay. How about showing this photograph? Tell us, do you remember where and when that was taken?
That was taken in Troy, New York, and Broadway, Baggio Studio, something like that. Yeah, my sister had it made for me.
Do you remember when? About
Holy
what?
gee.
Was that at the end of the war, or when you were?
No,
home
when
for
I
the
was
leave?
home on leave.
Mm-hmm.
When I was home on leave.
Was it before you went to Africa, or?
No, when I come home.
Oh, okay. So it must have been like 42, 43,
43,
somewhere in
yeah.
there. Okay.
That's what it was.
Okay. Thank you. And you said you had some other photographs?
Yeah, my sister sent. I got them in there hanging up. I got one with MacArthur, and who's the other one? I think it's Roosevelt, that she had made from one of my pictures and sent it to me. I got it hanging up in my bedroom.
Okay.
She made that one.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Okay.